21 minutes to get the treasure. Here we are, clue 5. You don't want to go rubbing this, as it sounds rather combustible. You don't want to go rubbing this, as it sounds rather combustible. And there's an exclamation mark after combustible. Before you can scout out the treasure, will you need current to pass through you? Right, you don't want to go rubbing this, as it sounds rather combustible. Before you can scout out the treasure, will you need current to pass through you? Question mark. That's clue 5. That will get us the treasure. We have 20 minutes to solve it. What do you think? 01603 617 321. Any answers there, Bex?
No, they're all thinking. Say hello to everybody in Ling. Hello. Thinking caps are on. We're working very fast. How many minutes have we got?
20.
20 minutes to work this out and get there.
You don't want to go rubbing.
Going.
No.
Ring it. Can you read it slowly and clearly for everybody?
Okay, here we go again. You don't want to go rubbing this. You don't want to go rubbing this, as it sounds rather combustible. That's exclamation mark after combustible. You don't want to go rubbing this, as it sounds rather combustible. Before you can scout out the treasure, will you need current to pass through you? Question mark.
What are you thinking?
What am I thinking?
The scout hut. No, you've got to rub something.
Like a wood bark rubbing. What do you think?
There's a scout hut at Reefham. And also things Corston.
Corston.
Why?
I don't know, David.
No.
Are the phone lines flashing?
No. On Facebook, Stephen is saying somewhere on the Wensum, as in current.
Somewhere on the Wensum.
As the current of the river, presumably. And Nick is saying circuit, question mark.
Okay, we've got a river. We've got the Wensum just here, have we? Okay, that's good to know.
So where would you go? You don't want to go rubbing this, as it sounds rather combustible. What would you rub that would sound combustible? You'd rub sticks together. You'd rub... Well, I don't know. What else? They're in Ling, everyone. They're in Ling. So to the north of them is Sparham. There's Bordswell. There's Elsing to the southwest. There's Swanton Morley. There's Billingford, Great Witchingham, Blackwater. I'm just reading out places. Attlebridge, Western Longville, Lenwade.
The dinosaur park. Do they do brass rubbings there?
Brass rubbings at a dinosaur park?
Do it at a church.
They do it at a church.
Right, brass rubbing doesn't sound combustible. You don't want to go rubbing this, as it sounds rather combustible.
I've got worn away.
Are the phone lines flashing now?
No, there's one line going. They're taking the call in the control room. The Glams are taking a call. Nothing's been put through.
Read it out. I'm going to read it out slowly and clearly. Here we go. We're in Ling, L-Y-N-G, if you've just joined us. Clue 5. You don't want to go rubbing this, as it sounds rather combustible, exclamation mark. Before you can scout out the treasure, will you need current to pass through you? 01603 617 321. We're really short on time,
Here's
so we
Beryl.
definitely need your help.
Beryl.
Hi, yes, you're in Ling. Close by is Taverham Hall, the prep school, where in the summer they have an exploding brass concert.
They do. Exploding brass concert.
Yes?
No, I don't want that one. Stop that one. I want that one.
How do we get there?
Okay.
Right. Beryl.
Okay. Yes.
Beryl, the exploding brass, Nick Conrad. Do you know when it's on? Beryl, do you know when it's on?
I don't, I'm afraid, but it hasn't happened yet, and it's usually in the evening on a weekend, but I'm sorry, I don't know the date.
Right, okay. Taverham Hall, okay, thank you.
Sorry, we can't stop longer.
Becky.
Sorry. We're on our way.
Right, you need to carry on down the 1067, go up to the main road, come down to Taverham and look for Taverham Hall School. Exploding brass would work.
Yes.
Okay.
We're on our way. Thanks, Roy and Kim, for getting us here.
Right, I'm going to fade Becky out because it's all a bit of a cacophony of sound, really. But Taverham Hall School would work. There is an exploding brass concert. Our own Nick Conrad is, I think, comparing it. It could be the conductor. You're looking for a band conductor, of course. Before you scout out the treasure, you need the current to pass through your conductor. Right. OK, so you don't want to go rubbing this. You do brass rubbing, as it sounds rather combustible. We've got this exploding brass concert at Taverham Hall. John?
Yep, that's me. Taverham Scouts run the exploding brass. They've got a scout hut in Taverham, and the person who conducts it is Ian Coleman.
Ian Coleman?
Yeah, and there's a scout hut on Sandy Lane, Taverham, so whether he's there this morning, I don't know, but that's exploding brass. It's next Saturday night. I think it's 5:30.
Yes, absolutely right. So I think we need to go before you can scout out the treasure. You've probably got to meet the conductor at the Scout Hut at Taverham Scout Hut. Yeah. Paul says exploding brass is next Saturday, and I will be there doing St John black shirt, St John, presumably St John ambulance. Come and say hello, Paul. Right. Okay, Paul. Right. So we're going there. We're going to Sandy Lane. Let me just work out exactly where that is, because I know Becky will be listening, and so will Keith, but they know roughly where they're going. It's straight down the 1067 towards Norwich. Good.
The latest traffic and travel from BBC Radio Norfolk Travel.
BBC Radio Norfolk.
Right, we should have Becky on the phone. Bex?
Right, we're on the Fakenham to Norwich Road. We're on the Fakenham Road heading towards Taverham. And we're now passing the turn-off for Norfolk Wildlife Park. And you'll find this very funny, bearing in mind I've got Keith in the car. We're stuck behind a caravan.
Yes. Well,
it's not funny.
No, and don't tell me the name of the caravan on the back is Swift.
So we're on. No, we're on the A1067. Now, you want us to go to the Scout Hut in Taverham, not the hall, yes?
Well, I tell you why that works, because of the third line. Before you can scout out the treasure, the scouts are staging it. It is probably at Taverham Hall. I don't know where it is, but don't worry about that. Sandy Lane is, as you come into Taverham, look on your right. There's Beach Avenue. Then you'll see Lloyd Road. Then the next turning will be Sandy Lane. Turn down that, because I think you have to go to the Scout Hut to meet Ian Coleman, who is the conductor.
All right, we're now coming into Great Witchingham.
OK, there's nothing we can do, Bex. You're on Great Witchingham.
1067.
Yeah, no, there's nothing we can do to speed you up. You've just got to make progress as best you can. I think you'll do it. You've got 12 minutes, and it's a straight road, and you want Sandy Lane.
Scout Hut, and then the conductor.
Yeah, he's called Ian Coleman.
And it's just the conductor. I don't need to find anything else.
No, I think if you find the conductor, that's the thing about you need a current to pass through you. That's a conductor. It's a play on words. When you get there, of course, the exploding brass is next Saturday, I think, but he will probably explain that when you find him.
I tell you what, it's a good job somebody actually recognised and heard about the exploding brass concert and rang in. Otherwise, we'd have been stuck in Ling, I think.
Well, it was always going to... I mean, there's a big sign for it just as I come out of the car park underneath the Forum with Nick's picture on it. So I think we would have seen... I think we'd have worked it out. Let's just talk to Joe. Hi, Joe.
Hello.
Can you help?
I was just going to talk to you about that Scout Hut.
Yeah.
It's rather difficult. There's only there's an opening to the Scout Hut, which is difficult to find usually, but the great big village hall is on the right down Sandy Lane, near the bottom of Sandy Lane, and opposite is the opening to the Scout Hut, which you go down quite a slope. I help in there every week for the old people.
Right.
That's really useful to know, thank you.
Okay.
And
Thank
Joe, who is Ian Coleman, apart from being the conductor? Is he anything to do with the Scouts?
Oh, yes, he's the head of the Scouts.
That all works, then. It all works. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, Bex, travel safely. You've got to get to Taverham. You go past 3 turnings on your right. One will be Beach Avenue, one will be Lloyd Road, and then on your right will be Sandy Lane. That's the best I can do to help you. Oh, dear me. I've got to go home and watch the British Grand Prix after this. I say, I'm looking forward to it as well. Them old Lotus, we want to see Hakey do well for Norfolk, don't we? And Yarno. Let's get Team Lotus up there. If it rains, they might stand more of a chance. Well, we're managing to do this without Kurz or whatever, so we can, they can. Graham Barnard's next with Treasure Quest Extra Time. He's getting ready. He takes over at 12, and he'll be talking about this programme and all that goes into it.